Hello everyone, welcome back to Allcarnews, and we're going to go through a full kind of detoured in-depth review of everything that was just revealed in the past week, because there's been a lot of stuff, and let's dive right in. Okay guys, so starting off this week, some of the major reveals we're just going to cover, and we'll kind of leave the end for a little bit of some honorable remarks. So I think one of the first off things that was kind of revealed this week was the Aston Martin DBR22, right? DBR22, DBR22. I've heard people say so many different things. I don't know why, but I'm pretty sure it's just DBR22. Anyways, this is essentially the Vantage V12 Speedster, if you want to kind of think of it like that, in a new Roadster format. And it's kind of harking back on older Aston Martin kind of Speedsters, and it's also celebrating Aston Martin Q's 10th anniversary. It does feature some new stuff. So we actually have a 3D printed rear subframe, and it's technically in a concept form right now, but it is going to be scheduled for production in a very limited production run. And I think it does look very more premium, more kind of GT-esque versus the V12 Speedster, which is a little bit more sporty. So that was kind of our first big reveal, I guess, of this week. And then quickly, we hopped right into all the stuff that Dodge has been doing for their Speed Week stuff. So main highlight, of course, we're going to get to the concept really quick, but first up was the Challenger Convertible, which was completely unexpected. So Dodge has kind of fed into all of the calls for a lot of their followers to kind of finally make a Challenger Convertible, and well, it's here, sort of. They're not actually doing the convertible conversions themselves. They're actually sending it out over to a company in Florida, I believe. I think it's called Drop Top Customs. I believe that's the name of the company, and they're actually going to be charging around $25,000 to $30,000 on top of the cost of the Challenger, so you can be getting a Hellcat if you want, with a manual probably, and you can have this converted to a convertible. Thankfully, since it's all this is going to be done before the vehicle is ever delivered to the customer, there is a warranty for 3 years, 36,000 miles on the top itself through Dodge, and they're also, of course, going to be have a full warranty on the vehicle as well, so no need to worry about that. But I think this is going to be a great way to kind of hear the exhaust, and for the final year of the Hemi kind of V8 and the supercharged V8, it's awesome, really cool to see. Straight punching in with Dodge. Once again, we have the Dodge Hornet. We're going to leave that over down to the honorable mentions at the end, because there's some other big reveals, such as the GT3 RS. So this was a huge one. It's been leaked earlier last week. There's a whole bunch of controversy over that. We've also been seeing teaser shots over the past few months, and a lot of testing that Porsche has been doing on tracks. And this thing is an absolute monster. It's kind of hard to just speak in words of how more extreme this is than the regular GT3. Just starting off with the aerodynamic kit, incredible stuff. So they actually removed the 3 intercoolers up front and combined it to this one kind of giant kind of intercooler, or kind of like radiator vent that's under the hood, and that kind of flows through that duct over there and the new venting on the top. So there's one big fan to kind of help cool all the stuff down. We also have new fender vents to remove air being caught in the wheel well. We have some new kind of air curtains on the side of the front fenders, kind of direct air around the vehicle and into the cooling ducts on the side corners. And then comes the rear end with that absolutely massive rear carbon fiber wing with a Formula One style kind of like DRS, or drag reduction system. So essentially it has a flap in the wing that can open hydraulically, and essentially when you want to go in straight speed runs, it will open up to let air pass through versus having it closed, which would increase drag, which we don't want. Some other crazy stuff about the GT3 RS. It can produce up to 1,900 pounds of downforce, of course at 177 miles an hour, but that's just still insane. And of course it gets a little bit of a bump in power, but I think one of the most significant things people aren't talking about too much are actually those dials on the steering wheel. This has never really before been seen in kind of like a production kind of car. So sure, we've seen like drive mode selectors, and maybe we'll have some buttons to select like your traction control and stuff, but this is going a few levels above this. So on the steering wheel, we have our drive mode selector on the right. We also have, let me just double check, yeah, traction control is also on the right. It's really small, so you can adjust your traction control settings, you can adjust your drive mode settings. But then on the left hand side, you can adjust your PTV Plus, which I'm guessing they're calling this Porsche Torque Vectoring Plus. So you can adjust your differential in the rear end. So you can adjust, I guess, how much it's differentiating power. I didn't really look into it too much, but you have that adjustment, and you also have kind of like a damper rebound, like different adjustments for that too on the steering wheel. So this is insane amount of customizability. And of course, you can upgrade to the YSOC package, which is like $40,000 option in the US. So a lot of stuff to unpack there, but of course we have the new GT3 RS, and I'm very looking forward to seeing that on the roads. The next big reveal that really kind of took the entire internet by storm was the Dodge Charger Daytona SRT concept. Long name, and there's a lot more crazy stuff going on this. This is essentially their first EV muscle under the eMuscle brand, and there's a lot of crazy names Dodge is throwing out here at us as well. So what is this thing? So it is a concept car right now. It's going to be built on the Stella Large architecture, which is Stellantis, the big corporate brand, parent brand, their new EV architecture that's going to be under a lot of different vehicles. For the Stella Large, it's going to be Stella Medium, Stella Small, Stella Frame for truck vehicles, all that stuff. So the one we're seeing with this particular concept, we're seeing the concept in a coupe type format. It is a 4-seater inside, but the big thing is the powertrain. So we don't really know about the powertrain, unfortunately, but it's going to be electric. They're saying it's going to have an 800-volt architecture and 4 electric motors, allowing for 4-wheel drifting and 4-wheel burnouts, which is nuts. They're saying it's going to have this thing called an erupt transmission that's going to be able to select different speeds. So I'm guessing some kind of like speed selector, kind of mimic a manual transmission. And then I think the most eye-catching feature from this thing, other than the really, really cool looks that kind of harkens back to like that 1999 Charger concept that was really, really cool, is the exhaust system. I'm going to put that in quotes because it's not a, well, it is kind of a real exhaust system actually, because Dodge is calling it the Fratsonic Dodge exhaust system, and it actually is producing sound, and not necessarily just through like speakers, but I think there's actually like tubes and stuff going on underneath there. We need to get into detail with this more once they reveal more details, but they're saying it produces up to 126 decibels of sound. That's pretty loud. They're saying that's like on Hellcat level exhaust, which is loud already. And from the videos you can hear it. I'll play a quick clip. But it sounds kind of cool, and there's actually, I think, a specific pedal just to rev the exhaust out, separate from your brake and your gas pedal, which is hilarious. Interior looks pretty cool. I think it looks great. We probably won't see it in production until like 2024, 2025, but it is coming to production. That's really cool. So nice introduction to the EV segment there. Next up, we have the Hennessy Venom F5 Roadster. This was expected. We knew this was coming. So essentially it's the Roadster version of the Hennessy Venom F5. There's also going to be kind of like I think a more track-oriented version as well coming soon, so we're going to wait to see that one. I think originally there were 24 coupes that they built around $2.1 million each. This one is $3 million each, and there's going to be around 30 units built. Now, all the coupes have sold out, so I wouldn't be surprised if these sell out too. It only gains a little bit of weight. I think it only gains around 100 pounds, which really isn't that bad. So you just take the roof off. It is removable. I think it's like carbon fiber and then Alcantara. And then this one also does have unique wheels. And this spec isn't the most flattering, I would say. But the Hennessy Venom F5 already is insane. They're working on getting speed runs. They're doing everything very professionally and very nicely. So SSC, guys gotta get on that again. But I think it looks pretty cool. We're gonna wait to see more about that coming down the road. Next up, I think in the big reveals we have is, this is this nice shocker today, the Koenigsegg CC850. What? Insane, right? So Koenigsegg decided to celebrate both Christian von Koenigsegg, the founder and CEO of the company's birthday party, so it's going to be 50 this year, and as well as 20 years of Koenigsegg making some crazy cars. So they unveiled the CC850 today, and it is nuts. It is a complete kind of like harking back to the old CC8S, if you remember back from like 2002. It kind of takes the design and moderns it, so we have new LED lights and a sleeker, more sculpted body. Takes some new elements from, I guess, kind of like the Agera RS, and kind of see that implemented in the rear end as well. But this thing is absolutely insane. So powering it is a twin turbocharged 5-liter V8, and if you run it on ethanol, it's going to make around 1,400 horsepower. Cool, right? A lot of powerful performance. The main thing about this that is so nuts is the gearbox. So, you know, Koenigsegg does everything in-house. I'm talking about like bolts and the chassis and the carbon, everything, the design and engineer in-house to their own specifications. So they have their crazy Lightspeed gearbox that's about to debut on the Jesko and the Jesko Absolute. So this is kind of like an evolution of that gearbox. Now, this gearbox connects to an engine with no flywheel. So the flywheel is usually on the engine, and then the gearbox will sandwich onto the flywheel to match the speed and so on. The engine is directly connected to the transmission. And the Lightspeed transmission has a theoretical, I think they say 9 speeds, and there's 7 clutches. I know it's really confusing, but at least in this system, you have the ability to shift it as a 6-speed manual, or you can put it in D mode and have it be used as a 9-speed kind of dual clutch or multi-clutch automatic. Insane stuff. And there actually is a clutch pedal under your pedal box that's hydraulically actuated, but it's fly-by-wire at the same time. This is some next level stuff here, guys. So just 50 units of this can be made. I'm sure like $3 million each. Insane stuff. But we'll be seeing these soon. I think they're going to start production next year. But we need someone to probably engineer and fully explain this gearbox, because it is nuts. So one nuts thing to the next nuts thing was the Bugatti W16 Mistral. Now, if you don't know, the whole thing with the Mistral is, for the longest time, Bugatti's been saying that they weren't able to make a Chiron Roadster because of the structure wasn't really designed for the Roadster. So I'm still waiting to see if there's more details on what they actually had to change to get the roof to come off, because they're saying that the Chiron's carbon fiber monocoque was not necessarily designed to be a Roadster from the get-go, but I guess if you have enough money, you can get whatever you want, right? But 99 people are getting this one, so they must have figured it out somehow. And this is a huge deal because it is the final application of Bugatti's famous 8-liter quad-turbo W16 power plant, likely ever, or likely only in non-hybrid form. We're going to wait to see. They did confirm a Chiron successor will be coming by the year 2027. These will not be built, these new Roadsters, until 2024, late 2023. So we still have time. We still have the bolides coming too. And I'm sure we'll be seeing some other stuff under Bugatti Rimac. In this application, it's making around 1,600 horsepower. It's kind of the same engine that we got from the Chiron Supersport SS. And it looks stunning. We see some inspiration from the Bugatti bolide in the rear with these kind of like X-shaped taillights. We got the Devo and the La Tournoise up front. I think it looks really cool, really sleek. Some of the colors are hideous, but yeah, awesome. And they're all spoken for as per usual. I think this one's around $5 million in that aspect. Next up, as this list keeps going on, we have the Urus Performante. So the long-awaited Lamborghini Urus Performante is finally here. We have been seeing renders of this. I even did a render of this back when the Urus came out originally. So it's kind of weird what they're doing. We definitely know there's going to be another Urus coming out that's going to have a plug-in hybrid twin-turbo V8 powertrain, but that's not out just yet. So we have the Urus Performante now. It's kind of underwhelming. So it only has a very small horsepower bump. It has around 666 horsepower. Though Lamborghini was able to reduce 154 pounds off of the regular Urus, which is kind of actually pretty impressive. So that's also, I'm sorry, 103 pounds, but it's 154 pounds lighter than the Cayenne Turbo GT, actually. Other stuff they did, they actually removed the air suspension, so now it's on steel springs, 90% stiffer up front and around 50% stiffer out back, so definitely going to handle better. They also retuned the steering. We also have new wheels and tires. They also completely redid the front end, have a new carbon fiber hood. There's also other carbon fiber body panels now, which is vented the hood as well. There's a new kind of wing, or spoiler if you want to call it, mounted up front. There's more fender vents, and yeah, that's pretty much it. It's going to go on sale probably around January, around $260,000. So nice update there. Let's see what happens when there's more stuff coming. In between this, we also had the Lucid Air Sapphire that was unveiled. So the Lucid Air Sapphire is now claiming to be one of the fastest sedans on the actual planet. It's going to be coming next year, I believe, pretty soon, early next year. $250,000. They're likely it's going to be a limited run. But unlike the Tesla Model S Plaid, Lucid did some serious stuff to this car to make it handle the power that it's getting. So it's getting around 1,200 horsepower. One motor up front alone produces around 670 horsepower. Out back, they now have two motors mounted up back, so you have true torque vectoring happening back there. Everything is of Lucid's own design, of course. Crazy numbers they're touting. So it has a 900-volt electrical system, so really quick charging capability. 0 to 60, they're saying under 2 seconds, no official times yet. 0 to 100 miles an hour will happen under 4 seconds. That's absurd. They're saying a top speed well over 200 miles an hour. There was an old Air prototype, if you remember a whole bunch of years ago, that went like 230 something or 220 something miles an hour. So I'm sure this is going to be nuts. Visually outside, we have fender flares to fit the wider tires. We have staggered wheels. So I think there's 21 up front, 22s out back, or it's 20 up front, 21s out back, I believe. Wider tires up to 295 width tires out back. Center lock wheels, which is pretty cool. They are I think they're lightweight forged wheels as well to keep the light weight down. There are carbon fiber covers you can put on to help increase range. Ceramic brakes out back, I believe the Akabono brakes. There is new springs, new dampers, retuned steering, new traction control, new ABS, and there's a slight aero kit out back with a longer wing. Inside also gets this sapphire kind of colored infotainment system, as well as sportier seats. This thing's nuts. I can't wait to see these when they get out and to see what kind of performance they're pulling. So that's kind of crazy. Great to see that's coming out. Next up is the absolutely insane McLaren Solus GT. Now, a lot of people are pretty impressed that McLaren's been able to keep this so quiet for so long, but this is an absolutely insane hypercar from McLaren. Track only, V10. It's nuts. So essentially what happened is McLaren's designer way back when, before even any of the McLarens we know are on the road right now was designed, this was technically penned. It eventually made its way to become like a McLaren Vision GT car. No one would ever think they would make this, right? Well, they did. They found 25 buyers. They're all sold already, of course. And this is a track-only hyper machine. McLaren has put in this car a 5.2 liter naturally aspirated V10. They're not known for making V10s, and they're saying it's going to sound like a old F1 V10, and there actually is a small clip I can play for you guys. Yeah, it's nuts. 829 horsepower, around 500 pound-feet of torque. And it's mounted structurally to the chassis. It's a single-seater, too, so you're really going to feel everything. Custom-designed carbon fiber monocoque. It has suspension from F1 cars. It has aerodynamics from, like, sci-fi stuff. We're making around 2,645 pounds of downforce, while this car only weighs around 2,200 pounds. That's nuts. They didn't say specifically what speed that's going to be making that downforce out, but that's insane. Manually adjustable 4-way dampers, 4-inch 18-inch wheels, 6-piston monoblock caliper. This thing's absurd. Quick acceleration times, which I don't think really care too much, but they're still pretty impressive. 0 to 60 around 2.5 seconds, and the top speed over 200 miles an hour. I don't think that's really the big point. This thing's going to be a track monster. Shredder, whatever you want to call it. It has a canopy that actually shifts completely forward to let you in. The seats molded to your body like a race car driver. Absurd stuff, and this was a big shock to everyone. I think McLaren's really putting themselves back on the map. They've been kind of a little bit of a slump recently, but that's most of the big unveils we have had this week so far. And I do want to have, there's a few honorable mentions that definitely have to be included in here. And a big one that I actually need to talk about is Singer. So we have Singer Singer, I can't really say their name properly, but they're a California-based company, kind of a new startup. They've been building their kind of 21C, I think it's called, hypercar. Incredible tandem 2-seater, their own kind of small V8, these crazy kind of 3D printed organic parts, really cool stuff. They just revealed 2 new vehicles today as well, the 21C VMAX and their new kind of like hyper GT car. So stay tuned for more detailed posts on that coming soon. I will definitely be doing that on Instagram and TikTok, and maybe we'll do a video on that as well. But let's go right into the honorable mentions, because there are a lot. Of course, first up is the Dodge Hornet. Now, this is the new kind of compact crossover from Dodge, and Alfa Romeo is furious about this because Dodge essentially just won the corporate battle to kind of get this car, and it's a rebadged Tonale, Alfa Romeo Tonale. That was kind of Alfa Romeo's project to kind of launch themselves back onto the map, really put themselves into the sales figures, and so they can produce nice sports cars and stuff. So now Dodge has their car. They literally have their car. They put a new bumper, new hood, changed the taillights, and it's literally the same thing. Different wheels, and they slapped the Dodge badge inside. Though, it is kind of cool, unfortunately, because I do actually kind of like it. And it's really powerful for this. This is a small vehicle. This is not a big car. 265 horsepower base, under $30,000. Step up to the RT, which will start, I think, $39,000. 285 horsepower plug-in hybrid powertrain. And there's gonna be some cool stuff coming with this car later down the road. They already have like 14,000 pre-orders, so huge success already. So even Alfa Romeo doesn't like it, it's happening. Durango Hellcat is back for another year. People are pissed about that because they thought it was exclusive, so that's also back. We also have the Lincoln L100 concept. I think it's cool. I really hope they make it, but it's another one of those autonomous concepts that's never going to see production. So I hope the Stallion will transfer to a production coupe or sedan, something down the road. But cool concept, nothing too special there, unfortunately. EV6 GT is confirmed for the United States, of course. crazy car. So this is going to be the top trim of the EV6, around 570-ish horsepower around that mark, 0 to 60, 3.5 seconds, has a drift mode, rear limited slip differential, and we also are going to be reducing range down to around 200 miles, which is depressing, but it is pretty cool. Nice to see Kia's doing that, and that will be coming soon to our market. Additionally, we have the Range Rover SV Caramel Edition. Or probably Caramel Edition, but this thing is a $350,000 Range Rover, and I'm gonna be honest, I don't know why it costs that much money, other than they're only making 17 of them, because it's pretty much a Range Rover SV, which you can already get for like $218,000 in the long wheelbase format. So for like $150,000 premium, you are gaining champagne flutes, a refrigerator, which I think you can also get in the regular SV, and golf clubs. And special matte paint, of course, and that matte paint is also featured on the wheels. But yeah, that also came out. We also need to talk about, really briefly, the accurate precision concept of the new EV. So this is going to turn into the ZDX names coming back. There will be a Type S version of that. Probably going to be related to the General Motors platform that Honda's collaborating on, the Ultium platform with the batteries and the chassis. So that's interesting. That will be coming out by 2024. Honorable mentions that I don't have a lot of information on, and I'll be doing posts on really soon. Gunther Works has a new crazy 911 out. I think it's insane. It's nuts. Definitely go Google it, because I'll definitely throw a picture up for you guys now. Polestar will be officially producing the Polestar 6, which is a stunning coupe/roadster. Really cool aluminum bonded chassis, electric, of course. It'll be coming around 2024. Limited edition will be costing $200K, so start saving up, guys. And I guess one big honorable mention I want to put in here is that the Charger and Challenger with the V8 will be killed off by the end of 2023. Really sad to a lot of people, but unfortunately this is the way that we're going. So you have 1 year. There's going to be a lot of special editions coming out. We're probably going to see like 1,000 horsepower version come out. Hemi edition, Daytona. There'll be a lot of special editions over the next year, so stay tuned for that. But yeah, I just want to kind of do this one big wrap up for all you guys. We're not done yet. There's still going to be things coming out as well. So stay tuned for that. And thank you guys for watching this video, and make sure to follow us on Instagram to keep up with the latest posts as soon as I make them. See you guys soon, and thanks again for watching.